to say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Most of us know that the so-called CIA, whatever, they came up with that term for anybody that finds out what's really going on, and they call you, and they try to discredit you. Who cares? But yet, you're so smart, you're doing what they're telling you to do, and you don't question it. But sometimes you see somebody else that thinks for themselves, and you're ready to go fight them, shoot them, whatever else, because they're not going along with that BS. Okay? So, we're in a time now where, it's not, true story. I went to a store one time, and I just tested the waters. I went in without a mask on, right? And they jumped on me. I mean, they jumped on me like I was a mattress. You dig it? Man, they was on me like stank on doo-doo.
Right.
So they came at me, and so, they asked me, where's your mask? You can't come in without a mask. All this stuff, okay? So, when they did, I'm thinking, okay, first of all, are you licensed to practice medicine? Are you trying to tell me you're practicing medicine without a license? They kind of backed up. You can't come in without that. I said, okay, bottom line, so if I put this mask on, if I pass out, that means you gave me authority, you give me permission to sue you, right? That means you're going to be responsible, right? No. You can't have it both ways. Either I wear a mask or I don't. If you want me to wear a mask, that means you're waiving any rights you have, and you're agreeing that by me entering this premises wearing this stupid Halloween mask, and if I can't breathe and I fall out, then you tacitly agree, on it for the record, that you will be personally liable. Hit them with that kind of stuff, they kind of double back. At least some of them do. But it's going against the grain,
So how do they have, living outside of California, we only get the horror stories, especially down south. What's actually going on there?
Well, I haven't been down south in a good little while.
I'm talking about in La La.
Oh, yeah. So they're gradually turning up the heat on the stove pilot, on the burner. They're turning up the heat. So they're basically making it to where if you don't, not just wear a mask, now they're gradually making it to where if you don't get vaxxed and you don't have the paperwork or the QR code on your smartphone to show that you got it, where, what time, and what brand you got it from, then they're making it to where you eventually you won't be able to travel. You won't be able to take planes or walk in the stores without showing them the COVID, which is Certificate of Vaccination ID. COVID. That's actually what it is.
Dude, you're kidding.
Say it again.
It's like that for real?
Well,
you can see it going that way.
Absolutely, it's happening already. The thing is being a frog in a jacuzzi that's boiling hotter and hotter. Eventually, you have to get a notice it's getting hotter. So what they're doing already is they're definitely turning up the knob on that stove. So right now they're testing the temperature to see how people what do they call that? They self-regulate. Okay, they don't even have to. It's just like the slavery days. Okay, when master has the slave so conditioned, the master don't even have to beat them no more. They'll do it themselves. They'll keep themselves in place. And people nowadays, they love to be a good slave. They love to not think. Okay, they love it. They absolutely love it. Okay, so eventually where this is going, I can see. A lot of us can see this happening is they're going to keep pushing the envelope to where if you don't have this thing, that you're not going to have your kids in school. You're not going to be able to keep your job. Your job's going to say you have to get tested. If you don't get tested, you're out of here. And you could talk all the rights and laws and stuff that say that that's prohibited, and they're going to ignore it anyway. So, and all these people that claim to be, they have these Christian or biblical or whatever beliefs, but yet they'll gladly take the mark of the beast. They'll gladly take it. I mean, if it's some nanotechnology, they'll gladly take it, no problem.
I find that shit strange because you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been pushing that Jesus stuff. Now you hear nothing about it, and all of them are lining up to take it.
True story. Here in LA, there's I don't know if it was you heard on the news recently. Pastor Frederick Price, Casey Price. He's a real big mega church pastor here in the LA area.
One of the
He recently passed away.
Yeah. Right.
So purportedly, I hear that it was due to supposedly quote unquote COVID. And they say rumor has it allegedly that someone came into his house and he got it from somebody that came into his house and supposedly that's how he got it. See, that's the first thing. That's the anyway. Oh, get me started. That's all right. So look, so this guy, he passed away. The complications allegedly, purportedly due to COVID. Now at his church, now it's a vaccination center. It's a mega vax center, which is these places where people make appointments and they line up in their cars and they're lined up for like a mile plus long in their cars and they're waiting to get their shots and they love it. I mean, most of my friends and family, they've already gotten theirs and they're waiting for their second one. Some have already gotten their second one. So, you know, things happen for a reason. I mean, if those, that's fine. If you get your shot, if you're listening to me right now and if you got your shot, look, I'm not knocking you. Do what you got to do.
Matthew 17, the Transfiguration. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured. And that's what I wanted to point out. I as a child, I never could understand this, but it's more and more becoming clear. The reason why I think Christians have no problem with this is because they're always told that they're going to get a new body, right, when they go to heaven. It blows my mind because I keep thinking about when Lex was like, when he broke down, you know, the millstone being kicked out of heaven, right, and everything coming to earth, and the judgment day happening, you know, here. They're all waiting to get to heaven, but all that stuff's coming here, you know, even in Buddhism, right? Death is not the end because then there's reincarnation at judgment day, and those that are worthy get to inherit the earth or in earth, you know. So I'm like, I look at this and I'm like, this is why. I think this is why, because it bothered me. I understand there's gonna be Christians out there who say, oh, I'm not for it, but I think this is why so many of them are so comfortable with the idea, because as you're learning about transhumanism, you know, and people, you know, now talking about, hey, let's get this microchip in our forehead that allows us to communicate like cell phones to each other, and you know, the Elon Musk designs, and you see all these things, you know, the idea that, you know, there's something wrong with your normal body, and this will enhance it and make it better. You know, articles, hey, getting this microchip, will it make you as smart as Elon Musk? Well, wait a minute. Why can't you study and spend your life researching to become that smart? Why do you need a microchip to put you in that category? He didn't need it. See? And it started to make sense to me. Because Christianity, on one of its lower levels or layers behind it, behind the feel-good story, is transhumanism, is transfigurations. Let's see. There was a transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun. Like the opening doors of the spaceship, right? So bright you can't see inside it. His clothes became as white as light. Right, walking in front of a spaceship, right? When they show those the doors opening up and you can't see them walking, right? That's what it kind of reminds me of. Suddenly, Moses and Elijah appeared before them, talking to Jesus. Now, how did they know it was Moses and Elijah? Did they have name tags on them? You know, they were probably wearing a mask with their names on them, right? And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, is it good for us to be here? If you wish, I will put up these shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While Peter was still speaking, a bright cloud. So what's going on there? enveloped them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell down, face down, in terror. Then Jesus came over and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Do not be afraid." When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. And that's always bothered me. His writing's in red, but the Most High, when he speaks, his writing's in black, just like everybody else's. Like he's dead, just like everybody else. And I don't know. That's always weird. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, "Do not tell anyone about this vision until the Son of Man has been risen from the dead." The disciples asked him, "Why then do we scribe saying that Elijah must come first?" Hold on, what is it? This one? Yeah, it is. They still haven't shown how were able to identify them. They weren't alive when Moses and Elijah were alive, so how they know that's who he was speaking to? It doesn't say Jesus called them by name, right? So I mean, this is just a bunch of poppycock. What is it? What was all this for? What was all this for? What was the whole meeting and all that for? And Jesus replied, "Elijah does indeed come, and he will restore all things. But I will tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not receive him, but have done to him whatsoever they wished. In the same way, the Son of Man will suffer at their hands." Then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them about John the Baptist. That's pretty presumptuous, because he didn't say Elijah is John the Baptist. That's just them assuming. Anyways, but yeah, no, I'm just saying, when I hear that stuff about Christians taking the shots and stuff like that, it makes sense, because it's one of the things that promised in the New Testament, right? Eventually they'll have a new body, one that doesn't ache, one that doesn't age, one that doesn't bleed, blah 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 blah, right? Jesus got those puncture wounds in his hands, his feet, and his side, and he has no blood, but blood is the life of the body, right? That and the breath, right? To have a body like a ghost, I guess, is what they're after. To have a body that they can never die,